Well, we had an all-around good performance tonight, obviously against the team that beat us on their home court. It's great to see our guys come out ready. Thought we had a lot of energy. You know, we won as a team. We had a lot of contributions from really everybody that played in the game. Josh Green was outstanding, and it's great to see him contribute in so many different ways. 6 assists, 4 steals, 7 for 11 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and then 4 rebounds. He got off to a great start and really played well throughout the game. But, the stat that caught my eye about tonight is, really there's 2. We had 8 turnovers, which we continue to do a great job of playing with single digit, and that's not easy to do, but we forced 21, and uncharacteristically, Oregon State turned the ball over more than they normally do, but 21 turnovers for them, 8 for us is a big difference in the game. And then they do as good of a job getting to the free throw line as anybody we play against. And, they shot 15 free throws and we shot 28. I thought it was about our aggressiveness, and the ball got, in and around the basket a number of times, which, free throw differentials is another big stat. So in those 2 areas, we did a really good job. I also want to address one thing from the game, and that's Trey Stinkle. We've competed against him for 4 years. He is one of the best competitors that I have coached against in the time that I've been at Arizona here in the Pac-10 and Pac-12. He's a complete player. He has done as much for his team in multiple years as maybe any player that's ever played in the Pac-10 or Pac-12. I mean, he's carried them. He does it on the glass. He plays the 4. He plays the 3. He shoots threes. He's incredibly smart. He's a really good defensive player. I know statistically he's going to go down as one of the all-time great players, not only at Oregon State, but in the Pac-12. It's unfortunate that he had to exit the game on that play. I don't look at that as a cheap shot in any way, shape, or form. It is what it is. He might have connected above the shoulders, but I know he's a great kid, high character guy. I'm not saying this because his dad's the coach. I think it's even harder to be a great player when your dad's the coach. It's not an advantage. Many times it's a disadvantage, but he is a monster player. He's a first-team All-Pac-12 last year, this year, and I'm just really glad that he's not going to be playing against us next year. Him and Peyton Pritchard, it feels like they've played against us, 20 times. So, for Trace, I know he probably feels bad, but he shouldn't. And if you've played this game, things happen quickly, and Jamal was actually in his space, and, sometimes that happens. Back in the day, that would have been a common move. In today's game with the rules, that's how it needs to be called, and it was called. But I want to make sure that his career against Arizona doesn't end that way. It ends by how it should, and that is that me as the coach that's coached against him every time knows that he is a terrific player, and he's going to go on and make a lot of money playing this game as a pro.
Most complete game you've had in a while?
I do think that we got a lot of contributions. The fact we ended 10 for 21 from 3 is big. We have stretches where we don't make them, and some of them are good shots. But, to see Nico make one, Josh hit a couple, obviously Max hit a number of them. It was really good to see, and I think that helps our team.
Wayne Tinkle was expressing some concern that the freedom of movement stuff is going the other direction now. I mean, are you coaching guys maybe to kind of push that a little bit with Jamal doing what he did there, for example? And have you noticed the way they're calling it maybe a little different?
No, I mean, it's tough when you're guarding the ball and the guy has not dribbled. If you're really uptight, which, a lot of teams do it, the offensive player can like swim his arms, and sometimes unintentionally it can connect. But the way the game is called and the rules, I didn't see the play other than live action. But I don't want to make too much of it because, again, if you've ever played this game, I mean, things happen so fast. It's like, wow. So the referees made the call, and whether it's you agree or disagree, I think they tried to enforce the rule as it is. And unfortunately, a really, really classy kid and a really terrific player had to leave the game and be ejected. And I hate for that to be the storyline.
Can you talk about the importance of getting out early with a nice lead where it kind of gets them out of their comfort zone and you get to do what you do?
Yeah, the first 4 minutes of the game, the first 4 minutes of the second half are tone setters. And, we pick our 5 best players that play the best together that can give us the best chance to be successful, right? I mean, that's why a starting lineup is so important. But you want to be good in those 2 segments. And tonight we were good in both, the first 4 minutes of the game and even the first 4 minutes of the second half, which at times we have struggled. We talked a lot about that for this game, and thought our guys responded.
Have you had a player that's as good in transition as Josh Green?
Nobody that is more explosive than him. And Josh can do it a lot of ways. He can do it with the ball. He can do it running wide. He's had some of our best passes in transition this year. So he's not always the recipient. Sometimes he's the giver. He's the player that makes the clever play. But no doubt when a game gets going fast, Josh is really at ease, and that's when he's at his best. And we really pushed the ball early in the game tonight, and that's a big reason he had such a big game.
Regardless of what you said about Trey, just that the whole sequence there when Wayne Tinkle also called for technical, and I know in Corvallis you had a technical, and that seemed to go the other way. I mean, do you look at those things as being big momentum changers just kind of by themselves?
I mean, when you take the guy's best player off the court, of course it affects the game. So just Trey Tinkle's presence versus him exiting the game, it's going to favor the opponent of Oregon State. But the other parts of it, I think were pretty inconsequential in terms of the coach technical or whoever got the technical.
Was this Coloco's best game?
Well, he keeps getting better. His shot blocks. He had 3 in 10 minutes. We're trying to inch his minutes up, get him closer to double figure 12 minutes. But boy, I tell you, he comes in and he's just different. The same shots that seem to be able to get around the basket and go in sometimes, they're eliminated with him. And the other thing is Christian, because we coach him every day in practice, Christian has good hands. As he gets stronger, he's going to be fine in the post. The one maybe missed shot he had, I think Josh Green found them in the high post. It was a tough play. He threw it really high. Christian had to catch it high, and that's one of those that you don't want to throw it to him there unless he's set and he could do something with it. But he's really been a big, in my mind, if we're playing better as a team, he's a big part of the solution.
I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but do you believe in momentum? You guys are playing kind of to build and build and build. It's going pretty well right now. Do you believe?
I mean, yes, confidence comes with momentum. If you make shots, if you play, if you win, I think it feels good. But as you know, by our team, we haven't always handled when things have gone well. We've talked a lot about that. That doesn't mean that it's going to change. But the game on Saturday is like March Madness. It's a late season game. I think we have 3 left. Oregon, their program speaks for itself. I think they're preseason favorite to win the conference. They got an outstanding team and coach. They've been in the winner's circle, and they've played well against us in McHale. And we have to be ready. The last time that we went from a Thursday win to a Saturday game, it was USC to UCLA, and UCLA took it to us. So we have to play with everything we have. This is the teams that can play the best at this time of year. Great things happen for them, and we want to be that team.
Does Pritchard fall in that same category as Trey Stinkle?
Yeah, Peyton is an outstanding player. I mean, the fans at Oregon and their program, and the fans at Oregon State and their program. I hope they appreciate how good those guys have been for 4 years, and how many games their respective teams have won. And they've just really represented their programs and their families, and they're really good players too. I mean, they're hard to play against, and obviously Peyton Pritchard on Saturday, he's the heart and soul of Oregon.
You kind of look at Oregon a little bit like you guys in that sense that Dane Altman's got so many new guys and working that in. Granted, they do have Pritchard there, but as far as maybe they seem to be playing a little better now. And
Yeah, I mean, they always seem to me to hit their stride in late February, early March. They did last year. They were great in the conference tournament and, really got themselves in the NCAA tournament through that way. But, we can't control them. We have to be ready. And we have to take care of the ball. Oregon, when they turn you over, when they get key shot blocks, they really benefit tremendously. And we're going to have to be able to guard some really talented players off the dribble. And we're getting better in that area, but we'll be challenged again on Saturday.
you talked about this and tonight too, where you guys are making some improvements and maybe emotionally too. I mean, do you feel like they can handle better coming off a game like this and having that big showdown on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I sure hope so. I do. I mean, we have a good group of guys, man. Their heart's in the right place. They've practiced well. They've overcome obstacles. I'll use Dylan Smith as an example. Looking back at our Cal and Stanford trip, Dylan Smith was really, really good, not just on offense but on defense. He played like a senior. He made big plays, but he was consistent. He got in foul trouble tonight, and he wasn't able to have the same type of game. But Dylan on Saturday is a really big deal. He has to play well, and we need everybody. Ira didn't play as much tonight, but you know what? We need Ira to play well. If you follow us closely, when Ira comes in with Christian and gives us energy off the bench, we seem to be a better team. And that's really what we're going to try to do is get contributions from everybody and really play a great game on Saturday. I think that's what it's going to take to beat Oregon.
One more question I have about just kind of inconsequential now, but early in the game, I think that third media timeout, you seemed pretty upset. And I know that you guys gave up an open three, but I didn't know if it was that or accumulation of things that you...
I mean, we didn't know who we were guarding. Those are November mistakes. You don't make that mistake in February. That's the play that ends up beating you. It's not the last play of the game, it's every play. And, there's no excuse for 5 players to not know who we have. And, 2 of Lucas's 3-point shots came because we didn't identify the players that we were guarding. And it's not one player's fault, it's everybody's fault. But, at Oregon State, we gave up 4 backdoor passes that led to fouls or scores. 4. Tonight, we gave them 0. They scored, I think, 5-7 points out of bounds against us. Tonight, they scored 0. They miss a free throw. We can't allow them to get an offensive rebound on a missed free throw. It's the little things at this time of year that mean more, because every team is kind of the best version of themselves. And you have a lot of players and teams that are playing for a lot, playing their heart out. And it's those mistakes that we make that a lot of times come back to haunt us. If we make that mistake on Saturday and we give them 6 points because we don't know who we're guarding, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat Oregon, right? So, I'm going to hold the bar incredibly high in those areas because, that's things that we can control. That's being a well-prepared, team that's not going to beat themselves. And so that's really what that was about.
Thanks.
Okay.